The Carolina Dodge Dealers 400 on Fox is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Are you ready for a cold one? By Valvoline's Max Life, the first motor oil formulated for higher mileage engines. And by the Home Depot, NASCAR's home improvement warehouse.
Jeff Gordon's lead has become 2 seconds longer, and here's why. There's been quite a skirmish for second place.
They're getting it loose.
He is lacking forward bite.
Just it gets to pushing off that corner. Driver turns the wheels to the left, and all of a sudden the front end digs in and the back end comes around.
And we heard Ward Burton talk earlier about his car being pushy loose. That's exactly what he's talking about. You go in the corner, it won't turn in the middle. Finally, you slow the speed of the car down enough, the front wheels bite, but the rear wheels break loose.
Exactly.
So Sterling Marlin moves to second, and Elliott Sadler follows him through to third place.
And one of the reasons that Jeff extended his lead a little bit was that Sterling had to pass that 14 car, and it cost him almost a second. He slowed down from a 31.7 to a 32.5 in that one lap.
So Earnhardt Jr. falls to fourth. Spencer is fifth. Ward Burton, Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, Kevin Harvick, and Kurt Busch the top 10.
Car's pretty well strung out all the way around the speedway right now. Not a whole lot of racing going on. Everybody's doing what we said, racing the track right now.
Marlin holding about 4.6 seconds off the lead.
And the thing that you don't know about the front 4 or 5 guys, just how hard are they running? How hard is Jeff Gordon running right now? And how hard is Sterling running trying to catch him? This is a point in the race where you're just, what I like to call logging laps, because you want to get some laps in the books, get down near the end of this thing, then make your plays.
Well, driver's having a pretty good day is Buckshot Jones. He's the only one of the 3 Petty cars currently running on the lead lap. He's been running in the top 20 most of the day, had a 12th at Atlanta, but he's going to pick up his best career finish here today.
Yeah, his best friend was that caution flag a little earlier in the race. He was just about to get lapped on both cautions when the caution came out. He was just about to get lapped by the leader.
Tony Stewart against Jimmy Johnson, who just looked like Jimmy again. Darrell just pulled over in the straightaway and let him go.
Well, if you've been racing here very long, and Jimmy Johnson hadn't, but you know that you pull down on the straightaway or back off on the straightaway and let the guy that's faster than you by, so you don't race into the corner side by side, because that's a disaster. That's ingredients for disaster when you race in the corner side by side here. Just like we saw what happened to Park first in the race. Okay, I'm going to have to go down to the hotel and get my crew chief buddy in on this conversation, because this race looks like it has a little bit of a green flag flavor to it now. Jeff, the guys are on pit road at 133, lap 133, which is 160 laps to go. That's shy of being able to do it on one stop. So my question to you would be now, and then I'll follow up, are you going to try to just break it up into about 3 53 or 54 lap runs? Or are you going and run your 65 laps and go ahead and pit with maybe 30 to go?
Some of that's going to depend on how good my car is, and the other is how good my crew is. I see it as being a 3-stop race if it happens to stay green. The key to this whole deal is who is going to pull the trigger first. The guy that comes to pit road first could dictate so much. Lap times have held on really good, been a lot more consistent with the top cars than early on. If that's my car, I'm looking to break it down to about 55 laps and come on, get me some tires.
And the one guy that cannot make that commitment and do it is our leader, Jeff Gordon. He has to wait till some of the other guys in the top 5 commit, because when you make a green flag stop here, 45 miles an hour, you're going to lose almost 2 laps.
You're right about that, Larry. But what we just saw there with Jimmy Spencer's car starting to get loose is a good indicator that these tires are getting ready to go away. And you can't sit out there and slide around all day long, because you're going to get lapped when you do come down pit road really bad.
Now, this place is real bad about wearing out the right rear tire, and that's, man, when that baby goes, you'll see what it looks like, because I think that's about where Spencer is.
Almost shouted, but this is about the 50th time today somebody started to wreck and just not finished it.
That was a controlled slide, right? Say.
When you don't hit the wall, that's a controlled slide, right, Larry?
Now, here's a guy that I think we got to give an attaboy to. The whole crowd, Ryan Newman's crowd. He is up to 14th place, started dead last in a car that never seen the racetrack at Darlington. Now, there's not a lot of people that can pull that little feat off.
And you know, he crawled in a backup car last year at Kansas after wrecking in practice and finished second. But I reminded his crew chief, Matt Boylan, that's a car he had been on the racetrack with before.
Yeah, I mean, this car hadn't even seen a racetrack. They didn't want to come out of the truck when they told us at Darlington.
Ward Burton saw Jimmy Spencer get sideways, and now he pounces on Spencer.
This is for 5th position. And Darrell, it almost looks like Ward Burton's car is good on those long runs.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be interesting strategy. If Burton's car is good on long runs, and his crew chief is Tommy Baldwin, the king of short pitting, what will they do?
We'll find out in a minute.
Welcome back to Darlington, South Carolina. The lady in black, tough on Steve Park and Ricky Craven, as well as Robbie Gordon. Craven, the pole sitter, gave it another try, but forced out of this one. The pole sitter has won this race just once in the last 17 tries. And Jeff Gordon, who started on the front row, your current leader. Let's look at the Dodge race summary. After 185 laps, 3 leaders, just 2 lead changes. And you see that 25 cars on the lead lap. Jeff Gordon, who has led just 19 laps in his first 4 races this season, took over on lap 38 and has not let go. Jeff Hammond with me in the Hollywood Hotel. And Jeff, if we look at yesterday, Jeff Burton led all 147 laps of the Busch Series race from start to finish. And with just about 105 laps to go here, Jeff Gordon certainly could do that. What has to happen for somebody to catch him?
To me, when you look at Jeff Gordon, you talk about what Jeff Burton did on Saturday. He's in a zone. I'm telling you right now, every now and then a driver will get in that zone. He gets the rhythm going, and you just can't break it. I mean, it's so hard to overcome that. That kind of trickles down to the crew. They're doing a great job, and everything's just falling in place and getting the job done. Darrell Waltrip, I've seen you in that zone, and Larry McReynolds, I'm sure you've worked with drivers before who've been in that zone.
Yeah, at a place that's as tough as this is, you really got to focus and concentrate hard. And when your car's there for you, you can really make everybody else look like they're going to kindergarten.
Tony Stewart started 36th, moves up past Jimmy Spencer into 6th place.
He's in the zone. His car's working for him as well.
Yeah, they have been for every race so far this year. It's unfortunate they had trouble at Daytona, because I believe you'd be looking at the point leader if it wasn't for that.
Well, what did we say about him last September? Started back in the 30s and finished 4th.
Yeah, but at about middle ways last year, this team really came into its own. They matured, started getting great runs, great finishes, winning races, and they have not let up.
And we're starting to see a few green flag stops. Joe Nemechek in the 26, Brett Bodine in 11, John Andretti. These are guys that were about to go a lap down or was a lap down. They're trying to get that jump on those 4 fresh tires, see if they can get back on that lead lap.
Well,
Dick Berger.
Well, Elliott Sadler right now is running in 3rd spot, and he's just heard some good words on his radio that he's running as fast as a leader. Pat Tryson, crew chief, how long are you going to stay out?
Well, the motorcraft quality part's been getting pretty good gas mileage. We could probably go at about 210, but I don't think we'll go that far. It depends when all the leaders come. You don't want to be out there in old tires when they got new ones, so I'm guessing somewhere around 195 when everybody's all gone.
That's about the number that Jeff Gordon is talking about as well, around lap 195.
We talked about Ward Burton's crew chief, Tommy Baldwin, being the king of short pitting, meaning not running out the full tank of fuel, but coming in early to get fresher tires, to put on, to get lower lap times, to make everybody else then come in sooner than they wanted to.
And another downside of staying out there on where a lot of other cars has come to pit road is they're out there on fresh tires. They're catching you at such a fast rate, you can't get out of the way quick enough.
I think Johnny Benson brushed the wall, and he's coming pit side.
Don't look like no tire rubs or anything. It's just a little flat.
Right here we are. Don't spend a lot of time. Come on. 4 tires.
Well, flat being the sheet metal, not the tires, but time to come in.
Yeah, and what he's saying is don't spend a lot of time. Hey, we're not going to a show here. We're racing. Now just get the tires on and get out.
So Benson falls from the lead lap, and now Ricky Rudd goes a lap down to the charge of Jeff Gordon.
Ricky's in the 24th position, so we have 23 cars on the lead lap. The next one's that car right up there in front. The guy that led every lap yesterday, Jeff Burton, in that 99 car. His troubles continue.
How about it, Matt, as the king of short pitting, polishing his crown down there?
Well, Mike, you remember back in Tommy Baldwin's modified days, he was nicknamed Two-Tire Tommy for always taking on 2, and I doubt he'll take 2 anytime today. Tommy, when are you going to come back in for 4 tires?
Well, car's a little tight, which
it's making it loose off the corners and hurting the right rear tire. But we're going to be coming in about 10 more laps and make some adjustments to it. I went the wrong way in the last stop. Let's see what happens.
They're still lacking forward by currently Ward Burton in the 4th position.
If he comes in 10 laps, Larry, that would leave him 89 laps to run.
That would be too far. That would be too far. Everybody should have to make 2 more stops.
You know, there are 4 cars officially out of this race. They had not marked Steve Park as officially out of the race. He's coming back in as Jeff Gordon comes to pit road.
And trust me, the other guys cannot be far behind
21's
him.
coming in right behind him. So here come a bunch of cars.
That's what Pat Tryson said. They do what the leader did, and so here they come. This is under green flag pit stops.
And here comes the 17, here comes the 40. They're all coming now. When Gordon comes, they all come.
And this pit road, it goes all the way from over the middle of turn 4 all the way down into turn 1. Dick Burton.
Well, as soon as Jeff Gordon's guys jumped on the wall, Tryson and his guys jumped on the wall, and that's what started it. All the way down pit road, people got ready to pit. Jeff Gordon indeed set the tone for these pit stops. The car has been excellent all day long. No wrenches in the back of this automobile. They're on the rear tires already. Johnny Letarte got it on. There they go. 21 also in. Elliott Sadler in for his pit stop. A little bit slower than Gordon. Not the best pit stop of the day that they have had. Steve.
Well, Dick Sterling Marlin comes to the attention of his crew. They have not called for any chassis adjustments. Clay Robinson on the front tires. Nate Kennan on the rear. A new rear tire carrier this week. Dwayne Trammell as Kennan comes to the rear tires. Rick Reeling is the jack man. Jerry Schweitz the gas man. No chassis adjustment for Sterling Marlin.
Oh, trouble. Turn 4 down here. Trouble.
Kurt Busch has crashed at turn 3 and now spinning his Hut Strickland and another car in the wall. Matt.
And Mike, the 22 car is already on pit road. They went back on their wedge adjustment. As they look up and see the 11 car go smoking by, they're telling Tommy Baldwin about the caution.
Nothing he could do. Car was already jacked up and the lug nuts off.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well go ahead and complete the stop.
Mark Martin's leading the race, and so he hadn't pitted yet, so it's going to put some guys that have put some guys in trouble.
Oh, what a difference a caution flag makes.
Yeah, sadly, it's
they fall at the right time, and sometimes they fall at the wrong time. That was untimely.
The circuit's sole remaining driver owner, Brett Bodine, is involved in that crash. We saw Kurt Busch go spinning as well up at turn number 3.
I think the top 4 or 5 cars that were leading the race here before that happened, Spencer, Gordon, a couple of others, Sterling, I think they were ahead of Mark Martin, so they're going to be okay.
The cars that hadn't pitted, Mark Martin, Bobby Labonte, and Tony Stewart, his teammate, Bobby Labonte's teammate. And Kurt Busch was the other one.
Yeah, Kurt Busch was one of those.
See if we can see what happened here.
Pick it up there in progress as Busch went spinning back down to the track apron, and there Bodine tags Hut Strickland, who had checked up.
Darrell, I'm not a big speculator. This is one of the worst places in the world coming on the pit road. I just wonder if Kurt Busch was trying to get on the pit road and that entrance snuck up on him.
Yeah, there wasn't any problem. He spun the car around. What the problem was is a spotter or somebody hollered at those other guys. They ran over each other. They lifted and ran over each other. See, he has no damage. He just spun coming on, trying to get on pit road.
And his caution flag put a lot of cars down. He's still on the lead lap in 4th.
Where's that Shamrock now that I need it, you know?
The Carolina Dodge Dealers 400 on Fox is brought to you by UPS, official delivery company of NASCAR. We want to race the truck. People love the truck.
At the time of the caution flag, the pace car picked up the leading driver who had not yet pitted. You see him at the top of your screen, Mark Martin. First time he's led this year, along with Bobby Labonte and Kurt Busch. Now, because the pace car picked up Mark Martin, the drivers who had pitted had to fall in line behind him. So now that Mark has gone to pit road, he'll come back out, and several of those drivers are still behind the pace car, but they'll be ahead of the race leader on the tail end of the lead lap. And they include Dale Earnhardt Jr., Elliott Sadler, Michael Waltrip, Bill Elliott.
Yeah, he'll be leading the race, but he's going to restart this race in about 13th or 14th position.
And we're going to have some fun now, boys.
Oh, yeah.
And the lady in black has taken a toll here. 4 cars officially out. 18 cars yesterday in the Busch race here in Darlington. That was a record. The 1 car, remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And the 1 car was Steve Park, which went out on lap 38. Steve Park making his return here after a 6-month absence. Darlington is back, coming back on the track, 158 laps down. And there is Steve Park, so at least wants to finish his comeback in this race. We're under our 4th caution. Jeff Gordon, our leader, and we're getting ready for a restart that could be a real adventure here.
It's going to be an adventure. I can guarantee you that right now. We've got Jeff Gordon leading this thing, followed by Sterling Marlin, but we've also got about 10 cars that are in front of them. Because of that caution flag, guys have made pit stops. They're on the tail end of the lead lap. They're trying to stay ahead of Jeff Gordon. Believe you me, when this thing goes back green, it's going to be exciting.
And Jeff Gordon, the off-the-track distraction, and also trying to end a streak of 12 straight races in which he has not finished in the top 5. His last win was Kansas last September. Now let's check in now with our Matt Yoakum down on the track. Matt?
Well, Chris, I'm down here in the 20 pit, and Greg Zippinelli, you were talking about a track bar adjustment. What'd you guys do to the 20?
We just went up a little in the left rear, down a little in the right rear pressure, and up a half round, about 1/8 of an inch in the track bar. We're kind of fighting just a little tight end, but I can't give up any forward bite on the exit, so we'll just keep working on it. Home Depot Pontiac's been running good. Guys in the pits have been awesome all day. Got us up in the top 5 here, and hopefully we can finish it off here.
Now, the 22 got caught when the caution came out on pit road. They had to come back in. How close were you guys to pitting?
We were a couple cars behind them. We were kind of debating whether to try and get 5 laps, 5 points. Everybody else had come. We didn't want to give up that much on sticker, so we came, but we just kind of exited back through pit road here, and it kind of worked out for us. Kept us on the lead lap.
Currently in the 5th position. Steve?
Well, Matt, with Lee McCall, crew chief for Sterling Marlin. Lee, you've done a great job coming from the rear of the field, but now the question is, can you get to that 24 and pass him?
The 24 car, he's always good here. You know, what we got to do is keep racing this old racetrack, and you know, hopefully we can bow those guys at the end. But Coors Light Dodge has run flawless all day, and Sterling's done a great job for us. So again, we'll just keep racing the racetrack and just be there at the end.
All right, thanks, Lee. Let's go to Dick Bergeron.
Strange times for 5-time Darlington winner Bill Elliott. He had just committed to the pit area. They were in the process of their pit stop when that caution flag came out. They took right side tires only, went back out on the speedway, rotated around the racetrack a few times, came back in and took the left side tires. The result, he is now running in 20th spot. Chris?
All right, Jeff Gordon tied with 4 drivers for 3rd. With 5 wins all time here at Darlington, hoping to make it 6. We'll be back live getting ready for the restart in just a moment.
The Carolina Dodge Dealers 400 on Fox is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Napa, we keep America running.
Lap and a half for the restart. Now remember the last time Jeff Gordon and Sterling Marlin restarted nose to tail. Watch what happens down in the lower right corner of your screen. This is what happened at Daytona in the 500. Marlin and Gordon get together, and you'll hear Jeff's explanation of it to his team.
I mean, Sterling hung back so much there that, I mean, you know,
And then we had Fendergate, and the rest was history. Ward Burton won the Daytona 500.
Now, go figure this out. I mean, they're 1st and 2nd back there, but they're 10 cars back. You're Dale Jr., hey, you're leading the race, but you're not leading the race.
You're not the race leader, but you'll be first out on the restart. So he had this conversation with his crew.
Elliot wants to know if you were going to pick the high line or the low line. Which one you want?
Tell him I'm going in the corner first. Just tell him, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Tell him, man.
Take the high line, then you'll control the start of the race. The inside line don't control the start of the race.
You'll have a hard time telling Elliot that, Tony. I'll get the high line and I'll beat him down in the corner. He'll be all right.
Now these cars are on the tail end of the lead lap. There's a spotter, Ty Norris.
I'm just a messenger. Don't shoot me.
When the caution came out, the pace car picked up Mark Martin as the leader. Everyone else who had already pitted fell in line behind. Then when Martin pitted, under caution, everyone else could pull up to the pace car, but they couldn't come all the way around. That's why these cars are trapped on the tail end of the lead lap behind the pace car. It's going to get interesting here in a minute. Cars on the tail end of the lead lap behind the pace car. They will get the green flag first. Fox Tracks points out where the leader, Jeff Gordon, will be on this restart. 13th in line, but he's the race leader.
And got to be careful. Got a really good race car, obviously. You just got to not get in trouble here.
But, Darrell, it's going to be interesting to watch Jeff Gordon in that 24 car because he's been at the front all day. He's been in clean air. Now he's back there in traffic. Let's see how good he really is.
Yeah, because I've talked to him about that, and he said that's one of his biggest problems. When they get loose track position, car gets that arrow. I said I wasn't going to say it. I'm saying it once. Dreaded arrow push.
Loses that front downforce, won't turn near as good.
And all those cars in front of him want desperately to stay on the lead lap because now if a caution flag comes out, they'll come all the way around, get the free pass.
This is when they'll be start hollering. I see something on the racetrack. I see debris down here.
Well, so far so good. They get single file in a hurry, and that's good news for him.
Tony Stewart on the move in third. Challenging Sterling Marlin for second.
They just don't want Gordon to get away from them here. Get some lap cars between them and between Sterling and Tony. Hard to make up that distance. They're banking on those lap cars holding him up. Every time Gordon goes by one of these cars in front of him now, he's putting them a lap down.
Here are the cars on the tail end of the lead lap out in front of Jeff Gordon. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in ninth, Elliott Sadler, Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, Bobby Hamilton, Matt Kenseth, Ryan Newman, Jerry Nadeau. Those cars are out in front of Gordon on the tail end of the lead lap.
And Larry, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. He got behind the car. The car that was there in front of him, Burton, and the car wouldn't turn. It pushed up off of turn 4, and Rusty went back by him. So he's got to have that clean air to go. Look at him. He has to slow down off of 2 there. He had to lift out of the throttle.
Here comes Stewart. Got inside of Marlin and Bill Elliott up in the high lane. Stewart came to second.
The bottom of the racetrack's working for Tony now, and he can go.
And Jeff Gordon is not going just as we anticipated.
He's having trouble with those lap cars.
Larry, nobody's saying save those tires now. Now you've got to go.
You have to go if you're one of those cars up there and wanting that caution flag.
And this is when the spotter and the crew chief, everybody's got to really be on their toes. And you got to tell Jeff, don't get frustrated. The thing will come around to you. Just don't get frustrated, make a mistake.
Look at our interval right here. You kept seeing it get smaller and smaller.
Now, Rusty has passed him twice. That's the second time Rusty's got back around him. Gordon passed him back down here 1 and 2. Tony Stewart is right there.
Wallace is 19th, and that puts him on the tail end of the lead lap.
He's been on and off the lead lap about 3 times now in the last few laps.
Yeah, since the restart.
Yeah.
Right now, Jeff Gordon in the 24, he's moved to the bottom of the racetrack. He saw how good it was working for Tony Stewart.
And there again, the spotter, the crew chief, everybody's got to say, Stewart's on that bottom. Got to take a look at it.
Last lap, though, Jeff Gordon ran a 31.07. Stewart ran a 30.95, over a 10th faster.
Cars are pretty equal. It all depends on what line you decide to run. I believe Tony's going to try to dive under Gordon here. No, they're sliding up the hill. It's almost like Gordon is looking in his mirror and kind of blocking his line. He does not want Gordon to get in front of, or Stewart to get in front of him.
You know, Dale Jr. and Elliott Sadler did a good job of getting out in front of everybody. There's a lot of clean air in front of them. And should the caution come out, I'd say at least 7 or 8 of these cars are going to be able to get the free pass around and stay on the lead lap.
Boy, I tell you, Gordon's car is tight up off of 2 over there, Larry. It shoves out. He has a lift. Tony gets a heck of a run on him.
I mean, right now, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And here he comes. Here he comes. He's going to come to the bottom.
6 races at Darlington. Stewart has never led a lap here.
He's always finished on the lead lap,
right.
Always, but never led a lap.
Just got to be real cautious.
Boy, what a run he's had since that last place finish at Daytona. Lost the engine.
Now, let's watch off of 2 over here. This is where he's been catching him.
There's Tony's handy little helper there in the back window.
And you see he gets a run off of 2 every time. He's got him. He's got him this time.
He's got trapped behind that lap car right there.
He's going to try to slide right up in front of him. Can he make it? Nope. Needed some more room. Almost put the slide job on him, but he's got the position. going into turn 1.
Sterling Marlin's done caught this group right now. He's in 3rd position in the 40 car.
Tony Stewart's march through the field today has been pretty unbelievable. He started at 36th today, and now comes to the lead with 74 laps to go.
In the first 50, 60 laps, didn't go anywhere, moved up 2 positions.
And Sterling Marlin had to start last or near last because of the engine change, and he too is at a long climb through the field.
This is a racetrack where you don't get in a hurry. You don't race hard until you get down to the last 4th of the race.
It's no longer here shortly racing the racetrack.
No, you start racing the competition, which it thins itself out, and you know who it is, you know who you got to beat.
Look at that, 90% of the races at Darlington have been won from the top 10. Here's 2 fellas out front that started way, way back.
And right now, Tony Stewart is 4/10 of a lap faster than Jeff Gordon because he's back there having to contend with Bobby Hamilton, a lap car.
I think Gordon's car is still, I don't know if he's as good as Stewart is right now, but Gordon's car will get better as it goes along. He's just a little tight on new tires, look like.
But he has got a rear view mirror full of Sterling Marlin in that 40 car.
That's been the 3 best cars right there at the front right now, the 20, the 24, and the 40.
Now, if Marlin wins this, they're going to need an asterisk for the record book because he will be credited with the starting position where he qualified. They don't take into account whether you have to go to the backup car and start at the rear of the field. So Marlin officially is credited with starting this race 11th, even though he took the green flag in the back. You know, the fellow who brought out that caution, Kurt Busch, who spun in turn 3, was able to stay on the lead lap and continue. He's the 6th place car.
You sure his name isn't McBush?
He's definitely the one that caused all this confusion.
Kurt O'Bush. Yep, there's a little bit of green riding with Kurt Busch today. And Mark Martin, 7th place, right behind his young teammate.
Mike, I want to wish my neighbor, Brad Tolley, good luck. He's going in the Air Force next week and serve our country like so many young men are right now. They just want to wish him good luck. And good luck to all of our troops that are overseas fighting for our freedom.
And the guy that restarted this race, leading it, not leading it, but leading the pack, Dale Earnhardt Jr., he's 10.5 seconds out there in front of Tony Stewart leading this race, but he's where Jeff Gordon was all day long, clean air.
He's out there giving that field the goodbye look.
But he loved to see a caution. All these guys would love to see a caution.
He and Elliott Sadler, Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Newman, Matt Kenseth, they would all benefit from a caution right now. But we're under green at Darlington. In the back straightaway coming off turn number 2. A ferocious crash in the back straightaway off turn number 2. Tony Stewart, the leader around. Mark Martin's in it. Ward Burton's in it. One car got completely sideways and the track was blocked. Look at the damage to Schrader's car. He is climbing out. His teammate Johnny Benson is involved. Kurt Busch, you see his damaged car. And the leader Stewart caught up in it.
Mark Martin and 24 car's got damage on the right side. I don't know how bad it is. I don't think it's real bad, but he scraped along the side of Tony Stewart.
Dave Blaney and Ward Burton are the other cars involved. Jeff Gordon, I believe he got a little right side damage as he drove through there.
He got into the back side of Stewart's, but it didn't look that bad.
But he did get through.
I don't think he hurt his cars cosmetically. That's about it. I think he can fix it. I think Tony must be hurt, and I feel so sorry for Kenny Schrader. I hope Tony's all right.
Stewart's car got sideways, Darrell, and I believe he got hit hard in the left side.
Yeah, they're...
when one car gets sideways here, this track gets so narrow. There's nowhere for anyone to go. Damage to Buckshot Jones.
I think he actually was involved in something that started all of this off turn 2.
Yeah, old Bush has gone to the garage now, by the way.
And all those cars that were on the tail end of the lead lap do get the free pass around.
Well, the 24 and the 40,
the pace car.
Little damage on the right front of the 24, but not very much.
Of the lead lap cars, about the only 2 cars that was not involved is the 24 and the 40, and we're hearing that Jeff Gordon may have a little bit of damage.
Yeah, he's got a little bit, but not very much. He's okay.
Dick Berggren.
He definitely has got some damage. They've been talking on the radio about it. The most important thing they want to do is to clear the fender so that there's no chance of that fender hitting the tire. Right now they're beating on the right front corner, trying to get that fender out. They want to make sure that there's no contact with the tire. There is now, however, a hole in that fender area. That's not going to help him at higher speed. Right side tires are on. They're going to change the left side tires. Tough break for Jeff Gordon back there in the traffic, and he just got into it.
The race off pit road is won by Marlin, then Earnhardt Jr., Sadler, and Harvick.
Being a lap down wasn't so bad, was it?
Not for those fellows, but a melee in the backstretch. Again, Dave Blaney involved, Tony Stewart, Jimmy Spencer, Kenny Schrader, Kurt Busch, and I believe Ward Burton. Let's see what happened coming off turn 2.
There's Tony all by himself.
Going low.
Oh, Buckshot got in trouble.
He was sideways off turn 2, got loose, and Tony Stewart just came up on him so fast, nowhere to go. There's where Jeff Gordon got the damage. Sterling Marlin gets through, and Bill Elliott gets through.
Oh,
and there's the hit.
Goodness.
Spencer just pile drove Stewart's car. There you see Ward Burton get caught up in it, and a host of cars on the outside.
Was another view. Just see Buckshot Jones in the 44 get
There was
sideways.
so much smoke that Spencer and those guys just could not see. There's all the smoke out there. So watch, these guys are coming here and they can't see. They're coming out of the smoke. It's like coming out of a bank of fog.
Wow, what a hit.
Oh, my goodness.
And at that speed, Darrell, from 300 feet away, what can you do?
Well, there's nothing. You're at just the mercy of the track, either opening up and you slip through.
In front of you there. Watch in front of you there. Come on, come on, come on. Back to the caution. Go back to the caution. Come on. 24 is the leader. Watch the 9 outside.
Tony Stewart, it's reported, is out of his car.
Well, the good news is all that impact was on the right side.
Yes.
That wasn't in the driver's side. You can see there on the right side. I'm sure he's shaken up quite a lot. They're stabilizing him there with stuff around his neck.
And our folks report that Tony Stewart was moving when they put him on the stretcher. And we're hoping this is precautionary. And it's pretty standard anytime a driver has to be helped from his car, get him stabilized, get him on that stretcher into the infield care center.
Turn 2 is a tough turn over, boys. I can't tell you how many times today we've said we've seen wrecks over there that didn't happen, but they should have happened.
So here's Gordon back in. You saw and heard just that little thump as Jeff Gordon swerved to avoid Tony Stewart and just barely caught him with the right front of his car. Jimmy Spencer's car towed to the garage area, both ends a mess.
I mean, of the 7 cars, 6 or 7 cars that was running behind Tony Stewart that was on the lead lap, the only car that received no damage of that group was Sterling Marlin, the 40 car.
And you rode with him as he drove through that, and only by luck of the Irish, you were in a complete tire smoke fog.
Well, and think about this, back to Charlotte last year when Gordon got bumped in the right front leaving the pit lane and messed up his right front fender, Larry, and he was later, no time at all, he got lapped. So that's a very critical corner of the car here, and they got to get it fixed right.
There are the 11 cars that received some or more damage in that crash. Johnny Benson sitting in, hoping they can make repairs and get him back out. Mark Martin's car got a lot of damage as Tony Stewart goes into the ambulance for the trip to the care center. Let's ride with Mark Martin.
Slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down.
Couldn't see a thing.
Check up.
Johnny
Stay
Benson.
high. You got one right in the racetrack high. Wrecking real bad, can't tell.
The spotters, you know, I can't tell. I can't tell you what to do.
Now watch when Stewart gets sideways and the track just closes up.
What a tangled mess.
Under caution for an 11-car pileup on the back straightaway at Darlington.
The Carolina Dodge Dealers 400 on Fox is brought to you by the Flame Broiled Whopper from Burger King, America's favorite burger. At BK, you got it. By Autotrader.com, new, used, buying or selling, it's the ultimate in automotive classifieds. By Miller Lite, grab a Miller Lite, it's Miller time. And by Viagra, ask your doctor if Viagra is right for you.
11 cars in this crash on the back straightaway. Mark Martin waiting on repairs. As far as we know, Tony Stewart, the only one of those 11 who did not drive or walk away. He was helped onto a stretcher and taken to the infield care center. We'll update you as soon as information is available on Tony's condition.
That 20 car, I mean, the right front tire is all the way up under the dash, Larry.
Let's take a look and show you from Fox Tracks the speed of Tony Stewart as he came around turn 2 and ran up against Buckshot Jones. And once Jimmy Spencer piles into Tony, the track becomes blocked.
There's nowhere for these guys to go.
Darrell, of the drivers who were among the race leaders, few made it through.
Yeah, only 2 cars, the 24 and the 40. But let me tell you, as a driver, hit that outside wall and then bounce back out there and you're setting in the racetrack like that. You are, I'm telling you, you are pulling on everything you got. You know you're fixing to take a hard lick.
So here's where we are after pit stops. Marlin, the leader. Dale Earnhardt Jr., one of those cars that got the free ride around behind the pace car, stayed on the lead lap. Earnhardt Jr.'s second. Elliott Sadler's third. Kevin Harvick, Ryan Newman. Then Matt Kenseth, Jimmy Johnson, Rusty Wallace, and Bill Elliott, who snaked through there. Then Jeff Gordon, Jerry Nadeau, and Jeff Burton. Those would be the lead lap cars.
And of those 12 cars, 10 of them was out there wanting a caution flag to get back around to get behind the leader.
And I know we talk about the veterans, but we got a lot of young guys up there right now.
And it's far from over. Caution out for an 11-car crash as Tony Stewart trying to lap Buckshot Jones triggered a melee.